dinamiche ci fanno male. Ok? Quello che accade però, prima di entrare in quello, è che in una parte molto importante della nostra vita, non saprei dire esattamente da quale età a quale età, ma comincia dalla nascita e va avanti secondo me fino alla parte più importante fino a circa 7 anni di età e poi dopo va avanti ancora per un po', ma è il nostro periodo dove noi andiamo a conoscere il mondo e noi stessi. Quindi quando vediamo qualcosa per la prima volta, no? Io oggi ero con una bambina che era la prima volta che vedeva la
today I was with a
Quindi
little
andava lì,
girl,
toccava, hanno
and
detto
was the
questo si
first
chiama
time that she saw
neve
the snow.
e ha avuto una
And
bella
she touched
esperienza
it,
con la
and then
neve.
she
Quindi
said,
quando si
this is
ricorderà di
called
neve si ricorderà come una
snow.
cosa
And then when she
bella.
got a good
La prima
experience,
esperienza con la
so
neve
the
brutta,
first
si ricorda di
experience
neve e dice quella è una
was
cosa
nice, so she will
brutta, che
remember
freddo,
a
che
good
questo, che
thing.
quell'altro, che nessuno.
She will have a good
Fatto
memory
sta che
about
quando è la
this
prima
first
volta che noi
experience.
entriamo in
So the
contatto
first
con
time that we
qualcosa,
get in touch with something,
qualcuno ci dà
we
un nome a quella cosa.
someone put a
E
name
noi
on
andiamo
top
in
of
qualche
this,
modo a
and then
conoscerla, ad attribuirgli un significato.
we start to
Quel
know the
significato
thing
ha un
and
componente
give a meaning,
concettuale,
and
in cui
this
vado a
meaning
dire
has
questa cosa
a
è così,
conceptual
serve per fare
part,
quello, eccetera, eccetera.
conceptual part.
Informazione che andiamo
There
ad
is
associare
an
a
information
quell'oggetto, a
connected to
quell'esperienza,
that
e c'è un
object or
componente
experience,
emotivo.
and there is an emotional
Come io mi
component.
sento dinanzi a
How do
quella
I
cosa
feel
che
in
sto
front
vivendo.
of these things that I'm living,
Ok?
in
Per
the moment?
esempio,
For instance,
viene detto che gli odori
we say that the smells
hanno questa
have
caratteristica
the
che un odore
characteristics to,
buono o cattivo
for instance, a
dipende
good smell or a bad
prevalentemente
smell
che le
depends
prime volte o la prima volta che abbiamo sentito quell'odore,
basically
come è
because
stata
the
la nostra
first
esperienza.
time
Gli
we
odori che
got
abbiamo
experience,
sentito
we
come
got in
un'esperienza
contact with
piacevole
that
rimangono
smell,
nella memoria
it
come
was
un buon odore.
pleasurable, then
Quelli che abbiamo con un'esperienza
it's a
brutta
pleasurable
rimangono nella memoria
memory.
come un odore
When we have a
cattivo.
bad experience about
E questo
that
io una
smell,
volta l'ho
we
sentito
remember, we
perché
receive
c'era
it as a
un
bad smell.
documentario
One time I saw a
che
documentary
parlavano
that was talking
dei
about
sensi, eccetera, e li raccontavano degli
about the
studiosi stavano
senses.
cercando di fare una
They
arma
tell that some
che era una sorta di bomba di
researchers
puzza.
were creating one
E
bomb
l'idea
of
era
bad
che, per esempio,
smells.
se c'è un luogo
The idea
dove ci
is where
sono dei terroristi
there are
piuttosto che, e
terrorists,
devono far andare
a
via tutte le
terrorist
persone,
attack, and then
eccetera,
they have to
lanciassero
evacuate all
questa
the
bomba di
people.
puzza che
They
farebbe
just
svenire tutti dalla
they
puzza,
launch this bomb
perché
of
apparentemente una
bad
puzza
smell
troppo forte fa
because
svenire
if it's too strong,
e non farebbe male a
people
nessuno
is
più di tanto, ok?
fainting.
Quindi era un
And
modo
then
per
it's
fare questo.
not
E i ricercatori ci sono
a
trovati davanti a un
big deal,
problema.
bad thing for
Non
people,
hanno trovato
indefinitely.
una puzza che
They
fosse
could not
cattiva per
find
tutti.
a bad smell that
Perché
was
quando
a
cambia
bad
il
smell for
contesto
everybody,
culturale,
for everyone.
quello che per uno
Because when
è
we
puzza,
change
per un altro è profumo.
the cultural
Non esiste
context,
un odore che sia
for
cattivo per
someone a
chiunque,
smell is a good
perché
smell, for
l'odore
others the
buono o
same
cattivo
smell
è connesso con
is a bad smell.
l'esperienza che abbiamo vissuto in comune.
This
E
is
fra i nostri
connected to
cinque
the
sensi, il
experience that we
senso
have
che ha
lived
una memoria
already.
più diretta è l'odore.
Between the
Per
five
esempio, no?
senses, the most
Io,
direct one is
per
the
me,
smell.
da un lato faccio anche
Olfactive.
quasi fatica a
For
parlare, perché è fondamentale per me.
it's something very
Quando
intimate
io mi
from
ricordo Lama
myself. I
Michel
remember
Rinpoche,
when Lama Michel
io posso
Rinpoche,
ricordarmi la sua
I
immagine,
remember
posso
his
ricordarmi la
image,
sua
I
voce,
remember
posso
his
ricordarmi tante
voice,
cose, ma
I
quando
can
mi ricordo il suo
remember,
odore,
but when I remember
quello mi tocca in un
his smell,
modo
this touched me
che è
in a
molto
way
più
that's
forte del
much
resto.
stronger than all the other
Ok?
memories.
E ci sono tantissimi
And we have
esempi di
so
questo
many
che si possono
examples
fare.
about
Quello
this
che io
that we
voglio
can make.
arrivare è
But the point
semplicemente
for me
che
is to reach
quando noi
that
conosciamo
to the
qualcosa
point
per la
that
prima volta,
when we
da un
met for the
cibo
first
a un oggetto,
time,
un
could be
luogo,
the
un certo
food,
tipo
could
di
be
situazione,
the
una persona,
situations, a
qualunque cosa noi
person,
conosciamo, quando la
a
prima volta
place.
che
The
incontriamo,
first time that
noi
we
andiamo ad
saw it,
attribuirgli un
we
significato.
attribute a
Una
meaning,
parte di questo
and
significato è
a
quello che ci hanno
part of this
raccontato,
meaning, what people has told to
una
us about
parte è
that.
quello che noi andiamo ad
The other
associare,
part is what with our
e poi
association.
insieme con quello andiamo ad
And together
attribuire
with this,
un'emozione,
we
che è
attribute
quella con la quale
an
noi viviamo
emotion,
quella cosa
which
lì.
is the one that
Per dare un
how we
altro
are
esempio
living
di
the
questo,
experience.
Una volta in Brasile,
to give another experience in Brazil, a friend from the Sangha. She's a teacher in a public school. In this school, when she teaches, it's a very deprived area of the city, and she would like to do a celebration for an homage for the mothers. And she paid with her own pocket. She bought so many flowers and filled the room with these flowers, because in this area of São Paulo, they never see all these flowers. And she likes to make an homage to the mother. It was the celebration of the celebration of the school. Everybody is passing in front of the room. No one is going in the room. Then she was upset. And I did this homage for all the mothers, and everybody. And then nobody was going inside. And someone says, and someone told her, she said nobody would like to go in. Why? Because the flowers, for us that we are living in this area of the city, is connecting to the death. Only at the funeral we see the flowers, only at the funerals. So if I see for the first time these flowers in a context of suffering, when I saw them, I immediately connected to that. There was a particular flowers that they have to take away from the gompa, because they use it a lot in the funeral. And there are many people that when they come in the gompa, they have the smell. The people feel bad because they connect them with these difficult moments that they have experienced with the loss of someone. This we want to say, when we see for the first time, we live for the first time an experience, we start to understand them, to know them, and there is a technical or mental attribution given from us or from others, and then we put on top of this our own meaning. And there is this component, emotional component. When we find ourselves in future in this similar context, similar situation, when we meet the same person, the same date, maybe a Christmas or something like that, our tendency is not to allow ourselves to know the new situations, but because it's similar. But as we say, what is similar, for definition, is different. But we don't see, but we saw it as similar. Then we say, it's similar, so it's the same. So I don't allow myself to live the experience, and I recognize the experience. That means I took the mental imaging of the past, composed by concepts and experiences together, and emotions, and I'm going to attribute it to the present situation. So I recognize it. So naturally, in this way, we live that object or that situation through the experience that we have lived in the past. Often, because often we stay trapped, we got trapped in that situation, in that mood, connected to the situation. And more we go on with the years, the more we recognize, and we are not knowing in the first place. Don't allow ourselves to know in a direct way. And this reminds me the story of the soup, which I told many times. When I say many years, I realized that when I say many times, could be many years ago. So I will repeat it anyway today too. For me, it was an emblematic experience. I was in Holland, I think it was about 15 years ago. It was a moment where our friend Rohir organized the first of the second congress that he did for complementary psychiatry. I don't know what the Lama was there in the middle, were doing. There were all doctors, psychiatrists, psychiatric and psychologists, and me and Lama Gangchen. They did the main congress with more than 1,800 people, and before there was a pre-congress. It was in the house of one of these doctors. There were about 50 people, the main speakers, only doctors. The contents were very interesting, so I learned that all these doctors it was very different when they talk between themselves, and then when they talk to the public, they have another kind of language. Was interesting to see. When was the lunch time? I don't know if it was always like this. I don't know if it's always like that, but often at lunch in Holland there is the soup and then sandwich. So I had this idea that I don't like the soup. I could overcome quite a lot this aversion, but that time I really have a strong idea that I didn't like the soup. I don't know why. I researched it myself. Maybe because for 12 years I have to eat the soup every day in India with 40 degrees at 5:30, sweating with that heat. Maybe it's for that they develop particular versions, because the Tibetans continued the same diet that they used to have in Tibet, not exactly the same, but almost the same when they migrate to India. I didn't have choice. There was only the soup for lunch. I have my cup of soup. Came a person that knows me very well and said, "How is going the lunch, Lama? What do you think? We have soup for lunch." Because in my mind, the soup at dinner is already better than the soup of lunch. So I said, "What you expect, the soup at lunch?" But interestingly enough, I was eating the soup. The soup was good. The taste was good. The consistency was good. The ingredients were good. And when I finished the first cup of soup, the first thought was, I want another one. But what I did, no. Why? Because I don't like the soup. And then when I watch again, review the situation on myself, I say, oh, I'm really silly, because my identity, the idealized of myself, the idealized idea of myself, I don't like the soup, was talking stronger than my direct experience that I was eating a very good soup. So our knowing is speaking strongly that our direct experience. And we are in front of a person and say, but you are not like that. I don't know if someone told you, but you are not like that. What should I say? But it seems so to me if I'm doing it because I am like this. But you were not like that. But we are impermanent. Things changes, and we too. But we start from this presupposed idea that we know the people, we know the situation, we saw the places, we know many things, and we can't adapt ourselves to the changes. We stay trapped in our idea that think it is or it should be, and when the things is not how it should be, because I knew it is like that, and we don't say, oh, we update this image. No, you are wrong. This cannot be like this. The other things can be like that. This can happen like this. And in this way, we have difficulties in going on and adapt ourselves to the changes. In our lives, we have so many attachments. The definitions of attachment and definition is then when we grasp to something and we don't want to leave it at any cost. This grasping to something and I don't want to leave it. We have so many things to the pleasure, attachments to the pleasures. Generally speaking, yes. There are certain things we like, eating in a certain way or other kind of pleasures. We don't want to give up. We have attachment to those pleasures. When they are present, we are happy. When they don't have, we feel bad, and we try to keep them close to us. We have attachment to material things. Each one has his own. I remember one time I was in a village in Tibet. It was a strange moment because normally there are many people. I find myself alone in a village, in a remote area, and the village people were talking around. And then we talk. There was one woman that was speaking. And she was quite brilliant in her conversation. And she said, laughing, and say, bring me with you in the West. The life should be better there. Then I reply, do you think that's so good, so beautiful, the West, living in the West? Then he say, but do you know that yak butter is not, you don't find there. In fact, it's the dri butter. So we don't have so much butter there. And we don't have the zampa also that you use so much. How do you do? I give one or two examples about the Tibetan kitchen. And this woman said, no, we don't go to the West. I stay here in Tibet. This just to mean that we have a lot of attachment to the things that we have, the things that we know, our house, our place where we live. We love certain objects and we don't want to give them up when they get broken, when we lose them. We are upset. We become upset. And this is one of the main characteristics of attachment. When I can hold and grasp to the object, I have a pleasant sensation. When I can't, I feel upset. The attachment in its nature, it's a great trick. Why? Because there is nothing that we can hold forever for many reasons. First reason, the conditions are always changing. This thing that we have constantly is in transformation. We ourselves are transforming. And this is another interesting aspect that when I'm going to know something that I like, what I have known is not only that object, that person, that situation. It's that object, that person, that place, the situation together with me in that particular moment. I don't know if it ever happens to you to see the same movie in different occasions, and it looks that you see two different movies. It happens to me, and I said, that movie is wonderful. We watched together again, and it was horrible. Then I said, that's why I'm not proposing anymore. It was so beautiful that time. What's happened to the same movie? I was emotional, I laugh, I cry. It was so beautiful, the movie. Maybe came someone in between and changed the scenes. What's happened to the same movie? What was happened that the creation is always made by two parts. When I see something, what I see, they're the colors, the sounds, the forms. It's myself that I see. And the way that I perceive it is different and change the experience itself. So when I have an object, could be the singing bowl, I change myself, and in my transformation, also the object in the relation with me cannot be the same. Cannot stay the same. This is one point. And then the object itself is changing. So the idea to maintain something forever, it's something that's unrealizable. If it was possible, it was different. Everything we know that everything that starts is it's already in the process of ending. It's natural. Everything that starts as an end. There is nothing bad or good in the impermanence. It's like that. We cannot do nothing about it. One of the most beautiful things when I understood that changed my mind, when I understood them, when things are as they are, we can relax.
Non entrare è permanente.
We don't go to see it's permanent or it's impermanent. I don't like that it's impermanent. In any case, the object will change, even if you like or you don't like. So the sun is rising at east. I don't like so much because the window in my house is west orientated. So I don't want to change the house. I don't want to open the house on the other side because there is the neighbor. So the moon, the sun should change. So what you can say to a person, there is something wrong in you. If you think like that. But when causes and conditions create a certain situation, to fight against that is not bringing us anywhere. One of the characteristics of things that everything is impermanent, in a constant transformation, process of transformation. But when we see something, we know it. Become an object of knowledge, of our knowledge. When we know it, it's like we take a picture of that thing. We have to remember that the picture has different components important. For instance, if we ask everybody here to take a picture of the same object, could be different. Each picture will be different. For instance, the camera will be different. The position in which everyone is sitting could be higher perspective, lower perspective. And this changed the photo. And when we said, okay, I take a picture of these things, okay, I know it, I take a picture of the moment, this photo is made from my senses in that moment, because we take a picture of the present moment and we experience reality through our senses. So it depends on our senses. It depends on the value that we attribute in that moment, the emotions that we experience in that moment, the aspects of the photographer, the perspective, the relation with the others, all these elements together, we take a picture, our own picture. Time is passing. I find myself in front of the same person which I took a picture some time ago. In my ignorance, I imagine to see again the same person. I don't think to meet again a person that in the same time transform itself. I think to see that picture because I know that person. And we relate to the person through the mental image, idealized imaging of the person, or the picture that we took of that person. Okay. Then it can get worse. Why? Because the person is in constant change, in transformation. The picture, no.
proprio anche parlando di una foto vera e propria.
Even if we speak really about a photo,
continua a cambiare, la foto no, rimane quel momento
the
lì.
person is changing constantly,
Nello stesso
and the
modo,
picture is
l'immagine
still.
mentale, queste immagini
So in the same time, the
immagini
mental
mentali
image,
che vogliamo
this
creare della persona in
idealized
quel momento, rimane
imaging of the
statico.
person is static.
persona
It remains static.
Però noi ci aspettiamo
The
che la
person
persona
is
debba
changing,
corrispondere
but we
all'immagine.
expect that the person must correspond to the image that we create. And when we saw that the person normally it corresponds, because the image is often generalized and is not detailed on the changes. Oh yes, it's the same person. I recognize him or her. And this brings us to the strange dynamic where the reality, which is impermanence in constant transformation, appears to us as it was permanent, as it is permanent. We see a person today. We believe who we believe to see next week. The same person or the person has changed? The same person, of course. But it's possible? No. That's the point.
La cosa ancora più strana
Even stranger than that is that not only the reality which is impermanent appear to us as permanent, and we follow in the trap and we believe that the impermanent reality is permanent, but on top of this we have a lot of attachment for that. We have a strong attachment all of the permanence of what is impermanent. It's craziness. It's foolish. The real term, right term is ignorance, because ignorance literally means I can't see the impermanence of what the impermanence of what is impermanent. Until I can see, but when I grasp to that idea and don't want to give it up, becomes even difficult. Because if I have an idealized imagine of you, sometimes it's past and it's not corresponding anymore. So, okay, I was wrong. We updated the mental image. Okay, the person has changed. But we have a strong attachment to the reality as it appears to us. Also because we have the feeling, the need to have some certainties. I need to have my certainty that I know the things. I know the person. I know that situation. I know that object. I know how it is. What I know, it's an idea of what I have lived that is not properly what is there at the moment. But at the same time, I'm not able to go in to relate myself without the mean of those images of photographs. Week, the same person, but I know somehow that it's not the same person. So I can open to that idea, do an update of the same image, and I see that you are not the same, even if I see you as the same, and try to stay open to know and don't have the enormous pretentiosity to be, I know how you are, I know how this is, I know that, and at the end, or the beginning, depends where we see, we conclude, I know who I am. Because it's foolish, but the idealized image of ourselves is speaking strongly that the direct experience that we're living in the present. So this brings us to see that we grasp to something that is not there. because we believe it's permanent, and this does not exist because it's in constant change. And this brought us to the biggest of our attachment. We say we have attachment to the food, attachment to the image, our own image, to the hair, to many, many things. Sounds like a joke, but it's not like that. I remember one time about the hair. I was laughing. The women was going to the hairdresser because to cut the hair, to take a nice. Then I said, I want together in this hotel, 5-star hotel. Okay, I will cut also my hair, completely bald. And in this beautiful hairdresser of Kathmandu, the machine broken, and so I was half cut. My hair were half cut and half not, and I have the sensation. I remember when I go out with all this hair completely messed up, and the feeling of shame. And I say, look, I was judging the other, but I have the same attachment to the hair. How my hair are looking, then I relaxed on this point. But that's the point, that we have many, many attachments. The strongest is from our image, how the other perceive us. This is huge. We do so many crazy things for that. We do something that is bad for our health. For instance, because it's on fashion, but it's damaging you, but you look more beautiful. Think to the health, but you don't understand. Someone will reply me, okay, it's my problem, I don't understand. But we do so many things to cultivate our image. It's interesting to see, for instance, that often, but very often, also the people who say that I don't care about my image, maybe they dress in a casual way, without they want to follow the rules of society. If you have to put the jacket and the shirt, they don't accept, because their style is the one to be a freestyle in the fashion. So there is another form of attachment. So the image is something very, very radicated in ourselves. The attachment to the sensual pressure, to the material goods, and attachment of image. Before sensual pressures, then possessions, material possessions, and image as a level of deepness. It's more easy to leave the attachment of the material, of the material possessions, than the pleasures, sensual pleasure, and the last is the image. And there is another attachment that traditionally we don't use these terms, that I believe is the biggest of ever. It's the bigger of these three together. Is the attachment of the reality as it should be according to me. That is regarding not the planet, the world, the universe, but the wife, the husband, the son, the children, the work, and so on. We relate ourselves with an idealized imagine how the things, the relation, or the person should be. And this should be, should originate in part from the experience to know something. When we believe that we know something, we are not aware that we are getting in touch with a situation, an object, or a person. In reality, my experience is it's an ensemble of things. There is the context, there is myself as an observer, there is the emotion. All these things together, all these elements, is what we live. And we are not aware about that. When we see the person, what we experience as the person. Or not. Or someone, for instance, would never say, I met the person, you know. And then they say, what is that person? It's an ensemble. It's a group of things. That day I was happy, I was seeing everything so beautiful. And then I leave the situation in that moment. We say, oh, that is a beautiful person, that is an ugly person, this is a bad person, that is a joyous person. From this one I can trust and the other I can't trust. We put the labels on the people. And when we put the labels, we are not aware that we are labeling for that. That is, for us, that is the reality, objectively, independent, solid. And I saw it correctly.
Successivamente io ritrovo davanti a una situazione simile e quella
stessa realtà che io if I find myself in the same situation, I see, I believe that this is the same situation, the same person. We don't need philosophy degree, PhD to understand this. We just need a little of sincerity with ourselves. But this reality that I was living as subjective is subjective or objective? Can I live it independently of myself, in my mood, my emotional state? Is influencing what I'm living when I'm living that experience? Not always not influencing. It's fundamental. It's the main cause. So
diventa importante per noi.
For us, it's important
trovare un equilibrio
to find a balance between adapt ourselves in reality in its constant transformation and then don't stay grasped to the things how they should be or they should. And at the same time keep our vision coherently. With coherence. Okay. You have to explain something technical. When I give a meaning to something and I say, this is that, what is determining the fact that the label I'm applying is right or wrong? For instance, this object, how many labels we can give to this? What is this? It could be a bowl. What is a bowl? A container with the same form. Could be a bowl, a square bowl, not necessarily roundly. In the round shape, could be also square shape. Could be a stool, a bell. Yes. Could be something to pee in the night. The bowl for the dog. A hat for someone who has a smaller head than mine. How many things could be this object? Innumerable. We can give different names to the same object. That the parts can give. But if I said, this is a nuts cake, it's a cake. I believe it really deeply that it's a cake. In my reality, is a cake or is not a cake? If a cake, in my reality, I should be able to eat it. Even if I believe it so much that it is a cake, can the object sustain the characteristic of and functions of the cake? No. No. So it's not the same. One can believe whatever they like, but I can believe as much as I want, but my perception is wrong. What is determined that my perception is right or wrong is that the object and the group of the parts of the object has the characteristic and the function of the object. And this is it's a very good point to start a discussion, and there is a discussion about this object. I buy this one, the singing bowl, it's a sacred object. I pay a lot of money, I go home, I cannot find anymore. The Lama told that this is the sound represents the emptiness of intrinsic existence. I did not understand well what is the emptiness, but I follow. I bought my singing bowl. I'm so happy. I go home. I can't find anymore my sacred singing bowl. I go around in the house. It was in the garden, and the dog is eating inside the singing bowl. Why? Because someone says, "Oh, I found that bowl that I found." It's very nice because when the dog is eating inside, it's making also nice sound. And so it's very good for the dogs. So we start to discussion. For me, it's a singing bowl. For you, it's a simple bowl. First question to start the discussion is the value that you attribute. It is sustainable by the object or not? And the value that I attribute to the object can sustain the value that I attribute it, and when I attribute the same meaning and you the same also value, then we are right. In this case, I bought the singing bowl, so it's a singing bowl. I'm right. The point is, you are not wrong also, the other person. There are situations much more complex than this. But before to point the finger and say you are wrong, the question is the value that you attribute to the object can be sustained by the object or not. And the value I attribute can be sustained or not. So in this way, we can understand or one is wrong, one is right. Sometimes or they're both wrong, both they're right. When there are the same right value, what is allora, what is the criteria is what is more suitable to you. What do you need? You need more the bowl or you need more the singing bowl? When the person is coming to ask something, in that moment, that request can become an object of stinginess. I don't want to give that object. Or could be an object of generosity. Oh, that's so nice. I can share with you. I can donate to you. A person comes and says to us something that we don't like. Could be an object of anger, could become, or could be an object of compassion. I'm sorry that you see the things in this way. I would like that you come out of this wrong vision. In this case, both the visions are right, because the request of the person can sustain the object from the stinginess point of view, and could be also an object of generosity. The question is, what is more convenient for me? What I want more? I want to be more generous or want to be more stinginess? it's my choice, it's up to me. When we can see, not only conceptually, but also over that whatever we live in itself, it's an ensemble of many, many different possibilities. And we are the one who should choose which one of the many possibilities we want to apply. And this is here there is a very, very important point, more subtle and deep, but very, very important. For instance, this bell, this object, it's a bell. Everybody agree, no? That is a bell. It's singing, yes. It's one of the sacred objects, sacred, these two objects, Vaja and the bell. The method represent respectively love and compassion, male energy, and the bell, feminine energy and wisdom. And the bell is the face of the Prajna Paramita that symbolize wisdom and so forth. So we agree, everybody, that this is a bell. Now you come and I say, from this moment on, it's not anymore a bell, but we will use it, this object, as a glass for the end of the year, New Year's Eve. I distribute one of this new glass for everybody. You can watch inside if it's clean or not. Could function as a glass. But how we see it? As a glass, simply, or as a bell that is functioning as a glass. We can see it's a bell that functions as a glass. Something's wrong with the Lama that gave us this bell as a glass. So we see the bell that is functioning as a glass. Why? Because this is how we live it. So there is an enormous difference to see this as a glass, effectively, and to see this as a bell that I'm utilizing as a glass. In a similar way, I can see an object of anger like an opportunity to practice patience. Is it possible? There is this sensation, I can't stand this person, I can't see her, I want to kill her, the person, but I cannot stand it. But in my head, they push me this idea, they force me, and they say, okay, the anger is bad, I don't want to get angry, I have to breathe in, breathe out. Is an opportunity to practice patience. Yes, it's possible. It is possible. I can make an effort and I cannot become angry, and this is great, excellent. But there is an enormous difference between to leave the object of anger as an opportunity to practice patience or to see an opportunity to practice patience. There is an enormous difference from the bell that is functioning as a glass and a glass. In the same way, there is an enormous difference between the object of anger, that I see it as an opportunity, and to be effectively an opportunity. Because until for me it is an object of anger, and I need to put an effort in order not to get angry, I can manage. When I relax, I take away all this energy, I fall again in the same mistake because this is anyway is my object of anger in an objective and independent way, objectively. One of the key is to see the object of anger and see that the object of anger, it does not exist as an object of anger in an independent, autonomous, objective way. It exists as an object of anger on the base of the value that I attribute to it. But that object is not existence in that way in an independent, autonomous way. How many times things happen? There was appearing as an object of anger, and then we have to thank the situation because the person changed, the situation changed, or even the opposite could happen. So when we have an object of desire, of attachment, I want that thing, we leave that object of attachment, we leave it as something intrinsically, autonomously, or because I recognize the attribute, a value on that. Why we want that things? Because it's good. Until for me it's like that, I can do whatever I want in order not to have attachment and desires. I try to control myself, but the base is the same. The basis is the same. When I can deconstruct, not to say that this is an ugly or bad things, but just to say it does not exist as a pleasant object. Exists as a pleasant object on the basis of the value that I attribute. Also because the objects of desires, they are created on the basis of comparison between the others. Because other people say, because this is better than the other, this is smaller, this is bigger, this is faster, this is more modern, and so on. For instance, one has the wonderful phone that looks wonderful until the next model is coming out. What I want to bring to you here is that on the basis of these emotions, and between these there is the fear, there is the envy, there is the resentment, sadness, and many others of our emotions, all the one that damage ourselves. On the basis of that, what sustain these disturbing emotions is an idealized imaging of the reality. These things is so. And when we can deconstruct this idea somehow and to see that it's not really like that as it appears to me, this makes that basis of the emotion cannot stand anymore on a solid ground, and then it dissolves. Another simple example is the object of desire. For instance, to me happens one time. I was going from Milan to Albagnano, and there was a shop on the way that sell the computer they sell in the trade fairs, and it was the time I was so fixated with the computers. Then there are many different periods. Now it's not so much as before. I saw that was coming one new model. The next feeling is I want it. What I have is quite good, but this one is the best. And this feeling, oh, maybe I pass through to the shop since it's on the way, and I make friendship with the shop attendant. I could not say immediately, say I wanted this one. yeah, it came out the new model. And the guy says, you know, it looks very good, but it has this and it has this and this defect. After these two opinions, the desire disappeared. I say, oh, I'm so lucky that I have the previous model. And there was this need inducted anxiety that suddenly disappeared. There was the story, Lama Gangchen told me a story, and I put now some more colors. We have to imagine that we are in a shop. We are going to buy some clothes in a clothes shop, and we see a jacket. Imagine something that you like. Could be a jacket. Oh, beautiful. Oh, really nice. This jacket. I like it. I want it. No, not only I want it. I really need it. Why? Because next week I have to go in this event, in this marriage celebration. I have the trousers with the jacket that I have. With this one, it's more suitful. But you know, at the marriage, there will be this person which I like to look beautiful at the eyes of this person. I want to attract him or her. So I need the jacket. And we start to flirt with the jacket and working with the guilty feelings. I should not spend so much. And we are and then the person that we want to see to be seen with the jacket, come in the jacket, the person says, ah, you are also here. The person look the jacket and say, oh, but this looks horrible. A person that is dressing like that, I will not even talk to the person. It's so expensive. It's bad quality. One should be crazy to buy a jacket like this. A person dressed like this, I even don't want to stay together. It's not intelligent enough. They don't understand how the things go. And they say, okay, now we need to go. Bye-bye. See you next week in the party. And we are there with the jacket, left there with our jacket. And the question is, the jacket is the same or has changed? It's not they come in, the employees put another jacket the same. What was changed? The value that they attributed to it. At the beginning, it was something that really could have the function to attract the desire of the other person. Now, no more. It's changed the value that I attribute on the object, and the object has changed. It is incredible to see how effectively it is like that is happens to us. And this brings me to my mind the scene of one movie. When I saw this one, I connected with these teachings. I connected. There were some thieves that steal the gold. In the end, they give back the gold that they've stolen. They give back all the gold. When they go to see, it was fake gold. But they cannot be ashamed to say it's not true, because the people give trust to the government on the base of this gold. So they go to the thief and then they say, it's not true gold. They say, I am a thief, a professional thief. Do you think that I steal the gold and I give you the real gold? You don't have to tell to the people, and you just say to the people and they will believe that it's true. The golden reserve in Italy, they say they exist. I never saw them. Someone can eat the gold if it's real gold, or if it's papier-mâché painted in gold. What is changing in the facts? Because everybody attribute the value of the gold. So nothing is changing if the value is the same. the money.
Questo altro esempio che per me è stato
This is another example. It was quite shocking for me. Many years ago, when the president of India, Prime Minister, I think, Modi, Prime Minister, Indian Prime Minister, when he became the Prime Minister, a few little while later, he did a very courageous choice. He declared it at the 8 p.m. He declared that all the banknote, comparing to 2 euros, from 10 euros on top, they have no more value. You have just 1 month to deposit in the bank all the value, the money. You have to only one exception. If there were more than 1,500 rupees, if you could not justify where this money was coming from, you have to pay a fine of 200%. At the end of the month, you can see all this money, banknotes on the road, the cows were eating the money. So what he could place, all the submerged economy, he was very brave because he could refill the funds of the nation. So before we attribute one value to the banknotes, before there is a value, then they don't have any more. So what was this? Was the value that the people give to the money, to the banknotes. I give you this example just to reach to the point that what has value is the value that we attribute. And today I was reading the news. The banana with the scotch was sold from $1,000 billion. Something has value on the basis of the value that we attribute it. The fundamental point is how we can apply this to our own life. Because at the end of the day, what we want really, we want to stay well, feel well. So, which are the inner states that make us feeling well? In front of a situation, what makes me more feeling good? Anger or gratitude? Acceptance or non-acceptance? To be rigid or to be flexible? What is helping me? The generosity or the opposite? The nervousness or the calmness? So, which are the values that I attribute to certain situations, which I'm also not aware to attribute that values? What are the values that I attribute that they don't allow me to be satisfied, may give me the sensation that I don't have time or I'm unhappy? Because, for instance, we think with words. Try to think without words. Can you? No. You can't. We have some emotions that goes beyond words. But when we remember or imagine, we do through the words. The words that we use verbally direct our thoughts. Very simple example about that. I have to speak in public, to expose a subject, a work meeting, whatever. At a certain point, I had 1 hour and 30 minutes. I just have left 30 minutes to speak. There is a big difference if I say, I only have 30 minutes. When I say, I have only 30 minutes left, I already start to be anxious. I just see it as an imminence. My cortisol is rising. I start to become tense. And what always happen to my mental clarity? It diminished. So in the half an hour left, I can't be clear. Instead, in the same situation, instead of saying I have only half an hour, if I said I still have half an hour, change completely the situation, because in this concept I still have means I have many possibilities, and it's not bringing me in an alert state. It's not a menace. The cortisol is stay calm down, and I can keep my calmness, and I can conclude. Another example is when we go on holiday. There is something that I never understood. Everybody was happy. 1 week of holiday. At the 5th day, after tomorrow we have to go back. I have to go back. Today is the last day of my holiday. I say, if you like so much to be on holiday, enjoy your holiday until the last second. This is a strange way of mean. I do everything until the time I'm leaving. I behave like there is no trip in program. I can say, I still have 1 day, instead of say I have only 1 day. So the interesting thing is that we talk in a different way, we also think in a different way. And if we think in a different way, we live in a different way. Consequently, because when we talk, we attribute meanings, and we connect with our emotions and many other things that they are going together. So that's why words are so important. Sometimes we say, but they're only words. No. Words are the most powerful things that we have in this world. We can create words, or can finish the words, can stop the words. In fact, what are the agreements between countries? They're only words, because the words direct thoughts. So how we use our words, this is one of the simpler way to direct the value that we attribute on things. And here we have 2 examples that I repeated many times, but they're very beautiful for me. One is, let's go to put in evidence what are certain dynamic of thought that are bad for us, and we are connecting which are the words where they are going to nurture those thoughts. For instance, to ruminate about the past. Is good or bad? It's bad. Try to ruminate on the past without use the word if. It's difficult. That time I went there, they told me that. But if I start to say, if I should have said that, if that person should have said that, and after is if, anything else can happen. It's changed completely the dynamic. For instance, you can try for 1 week, take away the if. You can't use anymore if, the word if. Each time that you use it.
E perciò togliamoli.
It's better take out.
Perché il se non fa altro che metterci.
Because the if put ourselves in the condition to review everything. Of course, it could have been different, but what happened is already happened. So it's not useful to go back with the ifs. But on the practical way, we have to do something to remember. So each time I have to say, if I'm starting to say if, I have to say no. I have to reformulate the sentence without the if. And in this way, we try to reorganize our way of thinking. There is another expression that I take away from my vocabulary, not to say anymore, you told me, because I don't know exactly what you told me. What I can be certain is what I remember that I have understood. I understood like this. We can say, what did you say? I don't know. Because it happens to me and say, Lama, because you told me. Yes, you said. Sì, yes, no, yes, no. Normally I say, I didn't want to say that. Another person says that, they say, no, you mean it. There is someone thinks to understand better what you want to say or what you have said. So it's better to say, that's what I understood. Already this takes away a big number of conflicts. Another way is not to say, this is like that, but this is my perception. For me, it looks like that. It seems like that for me. Then sometimes I go to certain extremes that can create some confusion. In my way of thinking, I don't have any certainty of what is going on tomorrow. And my word for me is sacred. If I say something, there must be coherent. Someone can tell me, next Wednesday you will be here at Kunpen. I can say, if everything is going as I think that is going, I will be here. Then some people ask, so you will not come? I say, no. I say in this way, that means it's not to remember, it's to express that I don't have certainty of what is going on, but I direct myself that this can happen. So I didn't take, I put it in my agenda, I have my calendar. But I don't have the absolutely certainty to be there. If I say I will be there, it's like I'm saying to myself, I will be certain of what will be, which we cannot be sure about that. And this is maybe it's an extreme. But if we start to direct better our way of thinking and talking, it helps to direct our mind. Another thing that I notice, we use many terminology, could be bad words, that sometimes they have a violent connotation, and we use it in a banal way. I'm not scandalized if someone is using bad words. I don't have this mentality. But what I can see is if I use that a word that has a particularly violent connotation, and if I'm repeating continuously this word, I'm giving to myself that message. There's a part of my mentality that is going together with that word. So we have to be careful how we use our words. On that basis, we have to be aware how we direct our mind. Because the difficulty that we have is that when we understood something as what we are talking today, that the reality is subjective, at the beginning we know something, then we recognize the things, but how we apply in our day daily life. We have to remember these things. And one of the most powerful tools that we have is how we talk. Because when we change how we speak to the others, is in the same way we change how we speak to ourselves. There's a friend, when she came the first time in Italy, was the first time that it's the first time that she saw the system of self-guidance. I do this because now I'm doing that. This was not going well. Like we think loudly with loud voice. But we have to be careful what we say to ourselves. Because the way how we talk to ourselves is building our reality, and consequently we are activating an emotion instead of another, and consequently we feel bad or well in accordance with the stories that we told to ourselves. The most beautiful things is that this shows to us one of the main keys of freedom that we have, because I can't change the world. The only things I can change is the way in which I put myself in front of the world. Another very important example is the way when we talk, another aspect of our way of talking is not allow ourselves to criticize people, but their actions. So I never put a label on that person and say that person is bad. I can say the person is doing this and that I'm not agreeing, and I don't have any problem to oppose myself, but I'm judging the action. And then I oppose myself to those choices, certain ideologies. I don't have problem in this, but any person is made by many things, factors. Some aspects are beautiful, others bad. They are bad, like in historical moments. For instance, today I was talking with a person that today in Spain there is a discussion about political manipulation, because a part of the politics saying that when Franco was there as a dictator was a very beautiful thing. It was not a bad period because he did so many good things. And I was thinking the problem is that we can't see the shades of gray. I don't want to put the finger in anything delicate. Example, the period of Mussolini. From many points of view, there was something positive that happens. For instance, for the infrastructures. Yes, example, the Stazione Centrale di Milano is very beautiful. Central Station in Milano. I like it. But this doesn't take away all the bad things, all the violence, the way to... One thing is not taken away the other. The beautiful is not taken away the ugly, and vice versa. And we can say, oh, thank you for that. This is functioning. This was useful. It's an expression of maturity. If we want to generalize everything in the bad or in the good, it's a sign of shallowness, superficiality. And often we go in those directions. But when we are in front of a person, this person has the ugly aspects and beautiful aspects. If we think to ourselves, we are a stream of choices, thoughts, emotions. We did very beautiful things towards someone and maybe some ugly things towards others. We have wonderful moments, and others was better to forget them or not. There are contests in which we were deeply sincere And there are moments in which we say the horrible lies. This happens on us. So who are you, a liar or a sincere? Not one, nor the other, because there is the attitude to lie, but not the person who is a liar, from my point of view. It's the attitude. So I can oppose myself to a behavior, to an ideology, to a certain way of acting. I can oppose myself with force, saying this is good, this is bad. This is very important to have a clear idea on these points. But when I start to labeling on the ideologies, on the actions, and on the choices, and not on the person, my attraction and my aversions are going towards the action or the ideology, not towards the person. This is changing completely. I can have a child. I have a strong love and attachment, enormous attachment. If I can judge his choices, his ideology, and not the person, so I don't have a problem to say, I love you very much, but what you do, this action is wrong for this, and that reasons. And I can go also to a person which I have a strong aversion, and I say, oh, what we are doing is good. And this is not incoherent with my feelings. Because when we put the label on the person, we feel the incoherence to someone, and also we can feel like a betrayal if we say to a person that we love, oh, I don't like this of you, this part of you. And it's strange. If I speak about the quality of a person, and then one can say, but you agree with the person. And if I can choose, maybe it's not the person I will choose to live together or to make a trip together. But this doesn't take away that someone has good qualities. If you think to be vegetarian is good, so Hitler was a vegetarian. Yeah, it's a good thing. No? This doesn't mean that all the vegetarians are bad because Hitler was a vegetarian. It's so beautiful to reach to this maturity of judgment, because in the same way that we generalized on the others, we do the same with ourselves. I am.
Io non sono altro che un flusso.
I'm not nothing else that a stream of idea, experience, choices, emotions, thoughts, feelings. It's a constant stream with different moments, extremely different moments. We have contradictions, no, between us. Yes, a lot. Some.
Come posso dire, la parola giusta non è dignità, ma con quale faccia? Andiamo da qualcuno
Which face we go to the person, we can say to the person, yesterday you say this, and tomorrow, today you tell me another things. We are also full of contradictions. And there's something that I learned not long ago, which is very beautiful. It's our capacity to accept our own incoherences. Starting from ourselves, then we stand to the others. We start always from ourselves. Because I'm not this, I'm not that. I'm a flow of many things. And between these many things, there are some incoherences. And when I can say, yes, this is not coherent, these things I wanted, but in the same time I didn't want. I would like to have this, but I would like to have that. I think like that, but I feel in a different way. And what's happened when we don't allow ourselves to see our contradictions? We enter in a kind of inner dialogue of conflict because one has to convince the other, because I don't allow myself to have both, the opposite. And what I need to have here is to create a dialogue, because the starting point of a dialogue that both of them are present and they allow each other to see each other. What is the starting point to have a dialogue? The respect. You are there. You have a different point of view of me. I respect you. You respect me. Then we can express one and the other, like giving and taking the different ideas, and then we find a common point. Maybe yes, maybe not, but it's creating an exchange between the two opposites. Often in the personal relationships or public debate, we have double monologue, because there is no, they don't want to have to find a common point. So one is doing a monologue and the other. So we have when we have internal contradiction and we allow the dialogue between the two, this exists and I accept with respect, and the other exists and I accept. Now you have to talk, and the both of you want the wellness of the person, which is me. And so we allow both parts to express their needs and ideas. And it's so nice to see that often in the dialogue, especially with our internal dialogue, but also external, what we need more is to have a safe place where we can express ourselves. We feel secure to express. Once that I told it, I express myself. It does not mean that should be as I want. There are parts of ourselves that when we allow to express ourselves, I know that the other part is better, but I allow myself to express that missing piece in part that maybe is coming from a feeling of fear, of sense of abandonment. There are many different stories. But when this part of ourselves it's a request to be seen, and when we allow to come to see, to become visible, then we can relax. So when we allow ourselves to accept our internal contradictions and to create this internal dialogue, it's something slow, sometimes tiring, but slowly we can create this balance. And this starts from the fact in order not to judge ourselves on the base, I am this or I am that. Try to do this exercise to change the way of talking. You does not need to do everything in one time. We start with the if, we avoid the if, and then also you said this, and then also we take away this is like this. With your imagination, observe yourself and watch what is better for you to say or not say, to have this internal dialogue that there are different parts. These different parts, they must dialogue together, because I saw with myself there are some desires, some thoughts that go in the opposite direction of others, of the logic. And when this manifests stronger, there was a part of myself that wants to be seen, and they didn't allow to show up. When I allow it, okay, I see you, you exist. And in this part, relax. I don't want to make I don't have the shortcut to find something complex to make it very simple. But from the moment that we start to change our way of talking and we stop to label the things around us, the world is changing, ourselves are changing. So try to take away the labels on ourselves and on others. And if you want to go deeper, don't put also label on the places. This is like that, this is like that, this place is good, this place is bad. There are so many aspects that are very beautiful things and other that are difficult. This allows us to be more open, to see the beautiful things, to open ourselves to see other things and then don't stay blocked and in our idea things are like this and cannot be moved. With the same terminology that we use on the beginning, don't put the label on the people and on things, allow us to recognize them, to recognize them again. And the important thing, the important exercise is to recognize ourselves, because I don't know if you noticed, but we are changing. We are not the same person. And sometimes there is a crisis. Oh, but I'm not like that. I'm changing. I'm not like I was before. Yes. You don't have any different chance. What happens is that we can see the changes until the change is so different that cannot sustain anymore the idealized image of ourselves that we had before. So before the crisis happened, if we allow ourselves to review ourselves, how we are, who we are, understanding that our tastes are changing, our ideas are changing, our choices are changing, the way of seeing the world, the body, everything is in constant transformation. I'm a togetherness of all these parts. I'm not only this or that simply. And without going into details, not only we put the label on ourselves, but also we allow, we stick the labels also, the labels put it from other people. Because you are that. You are not good enough. You are arrogant. Or you are this, you are that. Or you should be like this. You should be like that. And we spend our time to sustain what we should be in. Try to take out the image that the other take to us, say you are like that. And the reality is that all these labels are illusions, because it doesn't not exist a person who is only this or that. Everybody has many different characteristics, and with this I'm not saying we are living in the Hello Kitty world, everything is fantastic and beautiful. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we try to see the things with the most clear vision that we have. And for that we need to see the light and the shadows. And we have to remember that lights and shadow depends on the value that we attribute. For some can be shadows, there could be lights for other. Very difficult moment of the life, then we have to thank in the future for what was happened. Because we see in another perspective. And then, at least for me, and then we are going to the conclusion, what I found a deep relaxation is in the certainty of uncertainty. Because I say, I work in the best of my capacity. What will happen? I don't know. So I can relax. I do my best without any doubt. But I relax from my intention of things that the things should be, should go. I do my best to interact with you. I offer the best of myself, really. But then I can accept that you are made by many different aspects. Then the things that are going in one direction and another, I cannot have the certainty about that. So I don't pre-suffer for that or pre-expect something. I do my best at the moment, the present moment, and then I surf in accordance with the wind and currents that I found in the situation, in the present. Because what is create a lot of tension is to want to live something with certainty, something that is uncertain. To live what is permanent, live if it was permanent, what is impermanent. Live it was object, what is subject. Creates a lot of suffering and tension. And that translates in this tension is translated in stress. Because I live under the menace, the world is not as I want, this thing is not as what I want. And when I worry about something for tomorrow, how my body, my system is reacting like the things is really happening in the moment, in the present. And when I remember this something that I lived in the past, how my body is reacting in the present, like if I'm living the experience. And one of the biggest problem in the modern times, not only from the physical and mental health, is they are the states of chronic inflammations. One of the main causes is the higher cortisol with constancy. What is coming, the higher cortisol? From stress. From what is coming, the stress from menaces. What are the menaces in our lives? But that is not like that. And this should be because we live also the menace of the past. So we have to relax in the certainty of the uncertainty. We don't enter in that stress, in that tension. We offer our best to the world in any moment. And then we can see that things take their own way. Some people say, after a long time, I have to repeat what they told me. My life was a piece of shit and continuous, but the only difference is that now I'm happy and before not. Because I live in it in a different way. This is a great realization. This is a person who always have the problem that never has the job, cannot pay the bills, enormous difficulty, debts and health issues. And then they say everything continues in the same way, but now I'm happy and I can live these things in a different way. And this is a big realization, because exists also the opposite. Everything is going well and one is feeling bad. So we have to take the reins of our life in our hands, in the way that we change ourselves to change the world. So I repeat another time, we have to be careful with our words, directed to the others, but mainly also directed on ourselves. What I want, we have to remember what I want to direct my mind. The more I complain, the more I'm unhappy, unsatisfied. The more I thank, I'm grateful, and that I'm more happy. I live this. For instance, there is a delay. But I have a good moment to read. And the positive things is what leave the good impression, and they change the different way we talk to ourselves changes our experiences. So, but I am asking you to do this in a sincere way. This is very important, because there is the danger to start to talk to ourselves in a very nice way, but in a fake way. Undercover, we have another way of thinking. We say, oh, everything is nice, but another voice in ourselves says, but it's not true. A little bit artificiality to make it naturally at the beginning, but must be sincerity there. So now we do our dedication prayers.
Jetsun lame kutse rapten chi namkar chinle chokchur gepadang losan tempe dreme sasum ki drove munsel taktu ne gyurchi kewa kuntu yanda lama dan drame cheki pela longche ching sadan lamge yende rapzone Torce change kopa nyur toba sho nimo dele tsendele nime kuyan delek shin ninsen takto delek pe kuncho sumki chingilo kuncho sumki ngodrubut sol kuncho sumki trashisho. All'alba o al tramonto.
At dawn or dusk, at night, at midnight, may the three jewels grant us their blessings, may they help us achieve all realizations and sprinkle the path of our lives with various signs of auspiciousness.
Grazie a tutti.
Thank you all.
Se arriviamo a fine anno,
if we reach to the end of the they ask me to remember, like we do the lottery at the end of the year, like in Albagnano, we will do also in Milano. So everybody is welcome to participate. Thank you.